Well, before we dive in with an official intro, I've got to say, if everyone in their life was as enthusiastic as Miss Gat's class dancing at that song, we'd all be better off. Way to go, guys. My name is Jesse. I'm your virtual adventure guide here with Exploring by the Seat of Your Pants. And if you're joining us for the first time today, like I know several of you are, then welcome to the broadcast. And we are all about bringing conservation, adventure, and science into classrooms around the world through over 40 live, free, monthly interactive broadcasts, all of which are on our YouTube channel and stay up there indefinitely. I'm sorry if any of this is a little laggy. My internet's playing tricks with me, and we all know there should be something wrong with every video broadcast, otherwise you're not having fun. I will note before we dive in with today's program that we are going to have a Kahoot today. So if you're new to us, I'll explain a little bit more about this once we get into it. But if you want to open up kahoot.it with this game pin on a separate tab on your computer, there's an opportunity to play along between our talk and Q&A portions. I will note too that for any of our classes that are here for the first time, you could not be joining us for a better speaker. I am so thrilled to welcome back Alex Nelson, the founder and CEO of Club Rex and the biggest dinosaur lover in the world. If you guys can be as passionate about anything as Alex is about dinosaurs, you are set for life. And he's going to take us on a little journey today on the wonderful world of dinosaurs. And so without further ado, Alex, welcome in. Nice to see you again. And I can't wait to hear more about these incredible creatures you got behind you.
Fantastic. Yeah, guys, great enthusiasm. I love it. It is Friday. Fridays are for dancing. It's awesome to be here with you. I love joining you from my dino cave. My name is Alex. You can call me Alex. You can call me Dinosaur Man, Ankylosaurus Rex. I really don't mind. If anybody does have any answers to questions, you can answer through Jesse, or like Jesse said, there is the chat over there. I love taking questions, and we're going to leave some time at the end to talk about it. As Jesse mentioned, I love dinosaurs, and I've loved dinosaurs since I was about 4 or 5 years old when my dad took me to my first museum. Ever since then, I've been infatuated. Oh, guys, I wanted nothing more than to be a paleontologist, digging up dinosaurs and exploring. Well, that's not entirely true. Originally, I just wanted to be a T-Rex, and it's still kind of a dream of mine to grow up to be a T-Rex. I practice all the time. I run throughout the neighborhood, little tiny arms. I scare the neighbors. The guy across the road closes his curtains, turns off his lights, gets his hat in the house because Alex is being a dinosaur again. I'm not super good at math, so I couldn't be a paleontologist, but I did get the opportunity to build dinosaurs in museums all over the planet. I worked for a museum display company as a paleo artist. So a paleontologist goes out into the desert in the hottest part of the year. They sit there, they get sunburn, they get heat stroke, they get sand in their underpants, and they have the extremely hard job of digging up dinosaurs. As a paleo artist, I chill back in my dinosaur cave. I watch Jurassic Park. I listen to Dinosaur Jr. Everything's dinosaur themed with me. And I sit in air-conditioned bliss. When we put dinosaurs together for museums, a lot of the time what we see are museum casts. Fossils are awfully tricky to mount and things like that. But dinosaurs as a whole, oh boy, do I love dinosaurs. My favorite dinosaur is T-Rex. I know everybody loves T-Rexes, but here's the thing I love the most about T-Rexes. T-Rexes are the result of so many changes in dinosaurs over the entire time that dinosaurs lived on planet Earth. We call that period of time the Mesozoic time period. And throughout the Mesozoic time period, we had 3 different periods: Triassic, Jurassic, that's the famous one, and Cretaceous time periods. And each one of these time periods showed us a different world, a different time, and a different geographic setting, and of course different animals. Now if we go all the way back to the start, to the Triassic time period, we are coming off of the largest mass extinction that ever happened on planet Earth. This was a real hard time for life in general. We had just had explosions and changes on the planet, gases being released into the atmosphere that created big problems for the animals that lived at that time. Now, if any of us are joining, the people are joining us here from North America, I believe mostly. Jesse, correct me if I'm wrong. I'm based in Southern Ontario, so I'm in the Niagara region. And in the Niagara region, we don't have dinosaurs. We have animals from that time period. Things like trilobites, sea scorpions, Things like Dimetrodon were roaming during the Paleozoic time period. But when all those gases got released into the atmosphere through volcanoes and shifts on continents, what we end up with is an atmosphere that's hard to breathe. We end up with water that is hard to sustain life. We lose about 85% of life on land and an even larger amount of life in the water. So planet Earth, life on planet Earth was hanging on by its fingernails. Over a long period of time, the dust settled and a new animal started to appear, and that is the dinosaur. But at that time, dinosaurs were not the biggest animals. It looked during the Triassic like there was going to be a different animal that was going to rule the world, and those were crocodiles. During the Triassic, my friends, it was the time of crocodilomorphs. I'm talking rat-sized crocodiles, dog-sized crocodiles, crocodiles that could gallop like a horse and chase you down, crocodiles with a mouth like a pancake for catching a mass amount of fish, and massive Carnifex, which was a T-Rex sized crocodile. At that point in time, dinosaurs didn't want to be too big. Dinosaurs were in the shadows of these massive animals that filled most of the ecosystems. So during that time period, our largest carnivore as it comes to dinosaurs is this. This is called Rarest. And Rarest, while it isn't very big, sets the stage for predators throughout the entire Mesozoic. When we look at a skull like this, number one, we can tell that it is a carnivore based on the teeth. The teeth are sharp, the teeth are pointed backwards, the teeth are little triangles that point towards the back of the throat. These teeth are designed to catch something that's running away from you. Last time I checked, carrots do not run away from you, so these teeth would not be good for chewing plants. Herrerasaurus's mouth can open and it's got a double hinge back here, which gives dinosaurs a bit of an advantage. You can see all of these holes in a dinosaur's skull. This hole up front is my favorite because this is the one we pick. That's the nostril. Everybody thinks that this hole here is where the eye should go. This hole here is called an antorbital fenestra. And there's a theory that states the larger this hole, the better a dinosaur could use its sense of smell. Its eye would go in this hole right here. Back here are the ears, and I'm quite certain dinosaurs had rabbit ears. No, that's not right. Big elephant ears. No, that's not right also. People ears, probably, for keeping their glasses on. Probably not. They just had holes like reptiles and like modern birds, but we'll get to that in a little bit. Herrerasaurus was discovered in Argentina by, go figure, a gentleman called Mr. Herrera. So you find a dinosaur, and if you're lucky enough, it's a new one, you get to name it after yourself, maybe, or maybe somebody will name it after you. So Herrerasaurus, as far as carnivores go, is the largest dinosaur we really have during the Triassic. Herbivores are a little different, though, because herbivores are bigger. Here is our largest Triassic herbivore. This is something called Plateosaurus. Plateosaurus is wonderful because a version of this dinosaur existed in all three time periods. Plateosaurus is a prosauropod, and what prosauropods would do is not chew their food. If we look at the jaw of Plateosaurus, we can see that it's a pretty dainty jaw. Just for a comparison, let me show you the jaw of Triceratops. Triceratops, let me just get it out here. Triceratops has a chewing jaw for sure. It's super duper heavy duty. It's got these big muscle anchors right here and right here that would attach inside the cheeks. This animal was chewing with these teeth, and we can even see that there's a grinding surface on Triceratops's teeth that would be used to grind against the teeth in the maxilla or the skull of a trike. So a Triceratops is a fantastic chewing dinosaur. Plateosaurus is different. Plateosaurus's jaw is not designed for chewing. You'll notice that it does have spaces in between the teeth on the top. Those are supposed to be there. It's not that he's bad at brushing or he doesn't take care of its teeth. Plateosaurus would actually stand up on its hind legs, reach high up into a tree, grab onto some branches and pull its head back. As it's pulling its head back, all of the branches would slide between these teeth. And then Plateosaurus is left with a mouthful of yummy, tasty, delicious leaves. Probably a couple of bugs too, but It's Friday. Plateosaurus is a fantastic dinosaur, and I mentioned that Plateosaurus was around in some form or another for a long period of time, and that's because Plateosaurus, after the end of the Triassic time period, went through some changes. It got bigger, its neck got longer, its tail grew super long, and this is the great grandfather of every single long-necked dinosaur. Over time, these animals changed and became the largest animals to ever walk on planet Earth. Speaking about the end of the Triassic, something happened at the end of the Triassic time period. Let me just put Pete back up here. And what that was volcanic action. So all of these crocodiles are basically taking over, or they're in charge of all of these different kinds of ecosystems and niches in those ecosystems. And then volcanoes start exploding. The planet's temperature starts to drop. And we just recently discovered that all of these crocodiles went extinct because the dropping in temperature, but dinosaurs were able to survive the cooler temperatures because dinosaurs are exothermic, which means they can, or sorry, endothermic, which means they are warm-blooded animals. They can actually produce their own heat. So a dinosaur is able to survive in places that reptiles simply can't. And we're seeing this in the fossil record when we're finding dinosaurs in Alaska and we're finding dinosaurs at the South Pole. So dinosaurs were able to withstand all these temperatures. And when endothermic, sorry, my friend. And when all of these crocodiles went extinct, it left a void. There were all of these open niches in the food chain, which dinosaurs started to change and started to fill. During the Jurassic time period, holy cow, things started to get really, really big. Our largest meat eater from our Triassic time period, Rarest, started to get larger and larger, and then we see different kinds of animals. We see things like Dilophosaurus. We see things like Allosaurus. Here's an Allosaurus skull right here. Allosaurus is one of the largest predatory dinosaurs in North America during the Jurassic time period. Sharp, razor sharp teeth. Pound for pound, an Allosaurus is just as dangerous as Tyrannosaurus Rex because this guy is fast. Once again, nostril for picking, not the eye. This is the eye and elephant ears back here. But remember, this crest above the eye is a really interesting part, and we can see this in a whole bunch of predatory dinosaurs. This crest above the eye shields the eye. It blocks the sun. It's basically a built-in baseball hat, helping this dinosaur hunt and play baseball. Shortstop. Allosaurus plays shortstop. But as our predators change, so do our herbivores. Herbivores are always in an arms race with animals like this. Allosaurus's teeth are razor sharp. Allosaurus might have hunted in packs, but there's not a lot that supports that right now. Allosaurus's claws on its hands and an arm that's bigger than a T-Rex. Its claws are this big. And Allosaurus has 3 of these on each hand. They can scratch with these. We can grab things and bring them closer. Allosaurus, holy moly, the lion of the Jurassic time period, would eat things like Diplodocus and Stegosaurus. Now, Stegosaurus. Oh, I love Stegosaurus so much. Here's a Stegosaurus skull right up here. So Stegosaurus is an often maligned dinosaur. Stegosaurus, Jesse, Stegosaurus was not the right fielder. It certainly wasn't the manager, my friend. We always talk about Stegosaurus and the poor dinosaur. They're always like, oh, its brain is the size of a walnut. Well, number one, that's just rude. We don't make fun of our friends' brains. And number two, it isn't the size of a walnut. It's more of a hot dog shape. Hot dog sized, and it goes right here between these toe holes. So a Stegosaurus's brain, for the size of its body, sure, it's not big, but does Stegosaurus need to know how to write its name using uppercase and lowercase letters? No. Does Stegosaurus need to learn algebra? No. Does Stegosaurus need to know its zip code or postal code? The only thing Stegosaurus needed to do was survive. This dinosaur is a survivor. Stegosaurus is like nothing we have ever seen on planet Earth since Stegosaurus existed. Stegosaurus, number one, forget about the tiny brain. Stegosaurus, underneath its chin, going from its chin all the way down to its throat, were little quarter-sized bones, little round bones, and they covered over its throat, protecting it, just like a knight's chainmail armor. Speaking of armor, along the back were gigantic plates, massive things, and we're still trying to figure out why Stegosaurus had these plates. There's loads of theories. Maybe they were brightly colored, a really good way to scare off a predator or get a girlfriend. Maybe they would be able to bang against each other, making a sound that might, dissuade an Allosaurus from attacking it. Maybe they made Stegosaurus just look a little too big for an Allosaurus to attack. Whatever the reason, this dinosaur is incredible, but forget about the armor. How about the weapon? When we're talking Stegosaurus, we are talking Thagomizer. The Thagomizer is the tail of Stegosaurus, and the Thagomizer consists of 4 giant spikes sticking out to the side. Here's one of those spikes here. Oh, there we go. Stegosaurus's spikes are huge. Maybe it could be the baseball bat. Here's the thing. A Thagomizer, it is the best name in science, and I love Farsight so much. The Thagomizer is a spike. And just like claws, and just like horns, and just like plates, and just like spikes, when we find a dinosaur, we have to remember this is the bone that grows the spike. In reality, spikes and claws are the exact same as your hair and your fingernails. They're made out of keratin. The problem with keratin is that keratin does not fossilize. So by the time that we find a dinosaur's fossil, after over 100 million years of being in the ground, all of that keratin is gone, and all we can see is the bone that would grow it. So in reality, this spike would be that much longer and be like a sharpened pencil at the very end. This is an amazing weapon. What an amazing dinosaur Stegosaurus is. But as we move into the Cretaceous time period, our predators get gigantic. The 4 biggest meat-eating dinosaurs existed during the Cretaceous time period. You have Giganotosaurus. Oh, such a big South American dinosaur. You have Carcharodontosaurus roaming throughout North Africa. And both of these dinosaurs are terribly similar to our friend Allosaurus. Razor sharp teeth that can slice through meat. This tooth is still sharp. There's serrations up the front and serrations up the back. These animals are crazy. Another giant meat eater from this time period is Spinosaurus, but Spinosaurus is different, okay? Spinosaurus is not a running through the jungle kind of dinosaur. Instead, it shows us how adaptable dinosaurs can be to fill a lot of different ecosystems. Spinosaurus's body is super duper long. A giant sail on its back would have supported muscles to help it stand over a river. It's got big wide feet, almost like duck's feet. And these aren't for swimming. These are actually to help distribute the weight. Think snowshoes. They would stand on the bank of a river. They would look down. Their eyes and nostrils are way up high on top of their head, so they would just stick their nose in the water. Their claws are built like giant, heavy fish hooks. So a Spinosaurus would stay extremely still, waiting for a fish to swim close enough. And as soon as that fish is close enough, Spinosaurus reaches out with its claws, pulls it into its mouth, and Spinosaurus eats fish, sharks, turtles, and aquatic reptiles. So Spinosaurus, even though it is our longest carnivorous dinosaur, has a different kind of diet. It's an aquatic animal. And North Africa wasn't a desert during this time period. It was more like Florida. It was just like Florida, swamps and mangroves, and where we find alligators is probably like the same kind of place that we would find Spinosaurus. But it's time for my favorite dinosaur, Tyrannosaurus Rex. Tyrannosaurus Rex isn't the longest meat eater, but boy, howdy, T-Rex is the strongest and the heaviest. Tyrannosaurus Rex is a massive, massive meat eater. T-Rex live throughout North America, and we find giant T-Rexes throughout Canada, America. The largest T-Rex right now is Scotty, and Scotty comes from Saskatchewan. We give dinosaurs nicknames. Sue was gigantic, and me and my friends worked on Sue. She was found in the Dakotas, I believe. And if you're in Chicago, my friends, go see Sue at the Field Museum. Anyway, back to Scotty. Scotty is over 10 tons. What? It's such a big dinosaur. And our friends in Ottawa at the Canadian Museum of Nature have recently stated they think T-Rex could possibly be 75% bigger than the biggest T-Rex we've found so far. Oh, it's getting hot in here. Here's what makes T-Rex super duper special. T-Rex is strong. T-Rex is ridiculously strong with a bone-crushing bite. I mean, check out Tyrannosaurus Rex teeth. They are massive, and they're not sharp at the end. They're nothing like Giganotosaurus, Allosaurus, or Carcharodontosaurus. Instead, they're like spikes. A Tyrannosaurus Rex can bite so hard that the top of its head actually flattens from pressure. T-Rex can eat and crush bone. Oh, I love T-Rexes. And we've just recently discovered that Tyrannosaurus Rex was one of our smartest dinosaurs with a brain-body ratio similar to that of a chimpanzee. Oh, I could go on about T-Rexes for a long time, but I do want to wrap up our Cretaceous herbivores, because when you're going toe-to-toe with something like Tyrannosaurus Rex, Stegosaurus isn't going to cut it, but that's okay for Stegosaurus. Stegosaurus was extinct by almost 70 million years before we see T-Rex in the fossil record. Instead, when you're dealing with a T-Rex, you need to bring the big guns, the horns of a Triceratops. What an amazing weapon for beating Tyrannosaurus Rex. But dollars for donuts, this animal, excuse me, Yoda, here, Ankylosaurus is by far designed perfectly for dealing with T-Rex, a completely armored cousin of Stegosaurus that is perfectly designed to protect itself against a Tyrannosaurus Rex. Armor covering the entirety of its head over its back. Some species of Ankylosaurus had armored eyelids that are made out of bone. These animals are crazy. And then when you get to the end of them, after all of that armor, just like Stegosaurus, instead of having a thagomizer, we have a giant club of bone. This weapon is designed to defend yourself against Tyrannosaurus Rex. Swinging this weapon back and forth will definitely ruin a T-Rex's day if its leg gets in the way. Ankylosaurus, Stegosaurus, and all of our other amazing herbivores show us how nature is always playing a one-up with itself between carnivores and herbivores. Now, my friends, I see by the clock that we're almost out of time, and I want to make sure that we get some questions and answers. I did it, Jesse. I kept it under 25.
You did, but if you want to say one more thing, go for it, man. We'll do the All right. Well, Alex, as always, there's not even 10 people as enthusiastic as you, so it's an amazing opportunity to hear about some amazing creatures. Thank you for that. I really do think Stegosaurus is in right field. People can argue with me. We can talk about it later. I got a whole lineup really for the dinosaur Blue Jays. We are going to start with our Kahoot, folks. So I know a lot of you are already in, which is amazing. Sign in Kahoot.it. The game pin is 842-6853. The faster you answer, the more points you get. Now, you don't win anything, but you do win Alex and I's everlasting respect, which is pretty cool for some epic dinosaur knowledge. And then we are going to head to Mr. B's class first when we do questions after that. YouTubers, you can share there as well. And we are going to come to absolutely everyone with an epically long Q&A today. We are going to get started together. Alex, I'll say yesterday we had a program on geese, and a person with the name Goose won the Kahoot. So I'm hoping a dinosaur wins our dinosaur Kahoot today. That's my dream.
Are there any dinos in the group?
Maybe. We'll find out in the first leaderboard. All right. How do most dinosaurs die out? Is it outcompeted by mammals? Did we just kill them all with spears? Meteorite impact? Volcanoes? Or disease? 50 answers so far. Get those answers in. 8 more seconds. The story of this is very cool, by the way. We could spend a whole program talking about the end of the dinosaurs. 76 of you got your answers in. Meteorite impact. That crater of that meteor is in the Gulf of Mexico, a place called Chicxulub. There's some really cool science around that, and I encourage you to check it out when you're done. Majestic Dragon, who's pretty close to a dinosaur, is our leader. True or false? The largest animal ever on Earth was a dinosaur. Maybe it's this one in the picture. Wow, you guys are so confident. Almost everyone's answered. 78 answers so far. I think we're going to get a lot of them, Alex. I think we're going to get them. Yeah. Yoda is looking on disapprovingly, or Grogu. Zero. Here we go. It is false. The biggest animal ever on Earth is the blue whale currently living now. I know that tripped up a lot of you, which is very cool to think the biggest animal ever is right now, and you can go see it. But I know it's a dinosaur talk. This is half my fun. I can do whatever I want in the cahoots. That's Majestic Dragon keeps our lead. Way to go. Rapid Finch right behind. As we go into question number 3. Here we go, everybody. True or false again. This is a dinosaur. What is it? It's a chicken. Is a chicken a dinosaur? Wow, very confident. Very confident again. Are they going to be as correct or as poorly done in this next one? No matter what, if you're playing the Kahoot, that's great. The more you learn, the better. 80 answers, 4 more seconds. 3, 2, 1. What's the answer, Alex?
Behold the mighty chicken.
Behold the mighty chicken. Birds are dinosaurs. Birds are the last living dinosaurs on Earth. We lost all
my friends.
Yep. You can, I mean, they talk about this in Jurassic Park, and this is science that we've really firmly established in the last couple of decades, but birds are dinosaurs. So when you see a little chickadee eating at your bird feeder, recoil in terror. It's close to the T-Rex. Rapid Finch takes our lead, which is a dinosaur. As we just learned, dinosaurs. People have been on the Earth for 300,000 years. Now that we know birds are dinosaurs, how long have dinos been around? More or less. 1 million years, 66 million years, 230 million years, or 4.54 billion? How long have dinosaurs been around? When did the first dinosaurs appear on the scene? Trickling in with answers. This one is a little trickier. I think we're going to get a lot of one answer that is slightly off. So, a lot of you picked 66, which is when most dinosaurs went extinct, when the meteorite hit. But over 230 million years, more like 240. Alex, 240?
Yeah, that's about the Great Dying, 265. Yeah, so that's when we start to see them. Good job, friends.
Way to go. Majestic Dragon comes in third, who I was rooting for a bit. Rapid Finch comes in second. Okay, did we get a bird? Number 1 for all the marbles. Royal Falcon. It is a dinosaur. Hey! Classes, thank you so much for participating. That was a lot of fun. If you are any of those folks, let us know who you are in the chat. And we are going to head to California for Mr. B's class to kick us off with our questions. I'm coming to everyone, so stay tuned, guys. We're coming soon. Mr. B, welcome in. Unmute.
Hello, California.
Hi. How many dinosaurs are water dinosaurs? How many dinosaurs are water dinosaurs?
Water dinosaurs. Great question.
So here's the thing. Technically, in order to be a dinosaur, you need to live on land. So we have 3 groups of animals. We have our pterosaurs, our flying reptiles, right beside Optimus Prime there. So pterosaurs, pterodactyls, rhamphorhynchus, things like that are pterosaurs, not dinosaurs. Things that swim in the water like Mosasaurus, or our friend Ichthyosaurus, this is an Ichthyosaurus right here, are technically not dinosaurs. They are considered to be marine reptiles. They're cousins, and humans like to put things in nice little boxes, but there was lots of different animals. And here's the thing, we're always finding new animals. They just found a new plesiosaur. Plesiosaur looks something like this, and forgive this one. This is an old toy of mine. It's like the Loch Ness monster, right? They just found really small versions of this throughout different parts of Africa. So we're finding a whole bunch of different ones. Marine reptiles, once again, using the word reptile gets things a little bit confused. They're reptiles, but they're warm-blooded. They're reptiles, but they have blubber like a whale. They're reptiles, but they don't lay eggs. They have live birth. It's really kind of, the line gets a bit squiffy there, but there is a big difference. Right now, I believe Pleurodon is one of our largest marine reptiles. Yeah, with that. Mosasaurus gets all of the attention because Mosasaurus is a movie star, but the reality is that Mosasaurus wasn't as big as that we see in Jurassic World. That Mosasaurus in Jurassic World was the size of 3 blue whales sitting end to end. So it's not that big.
But as you mentioned, I mean, even with the ichthyosaur, the plesiosaur, these mosasaurs, there's a lot of different things in the dinosaur era that were in the water. Some really incredible diverse creatures. In fact, some of my favorite creatures from the world at that point were water creatures. So I'm really glad we got that question, Mr. Beach.
I love pterosaurs. Pterosaurs are incredible animals. They're the first flying vertebrates, and I could argue that they're probably even more successful than birds in terms of their diversity. So yeah, they're very amazing animals.
Yep. Miss Ross's class, I'm going to head to you guys second. Come on in and take us away. Hey, guys.
What is the biggest skull you guys have?
Ooh, biggest skull.
The biggest skull would have to be between my Allosaurus and my friend over here, Cryolophosaurus. Cryolophosaurus is a South Pole dinosaur. He's Antarctic. Super sad story. My old employer, who I used to build dinosaurs with, offered me a free T-Rex skull. Oh, but it was so big I couldn't fit in the back of my car. I wouldn't be able to fit it through my door. Seriously, I've been inside the mouth of a T-Rex from my head down below my knees. I put my elbows out to the side, and I still couldn't fit the insides of Sue's cheeks. Massive, massive, massive animals. But the largest ones I have are the ones that you see behind me. I'm a traveling dinosaur guy, so I don't want anything too big.
Yeah. But I love the Cryolophosaurus, and mentioning that they lived in Antarctica is astonishing. So again, very different continent at the time that the dinosaurs were around, and I'm really glad we got that question. Miss Gat's class, I'm coming to you guys live. You don't need to type questions in the chat. So it will come, as you can unmute and talk to us. Hey.
Hi.
Hi. Hi. I know you need to go soon. So if you have 2 questions for us, you can ask 2 questions.
What's the question? How do you guys know, what the dinosaurs look like? I know that you have the fossils, but how do you put them together properly?
Amazing.
Well, putting them together properly, you just have to listen to the bones. When you're building a dinosaur, everything fits together. There's been cases where, people have rushed mounts. The original T-Rex was built with its head like this. And they had to break the neck in 3 different places just to get it to stand like this. There's also during the bone wars between Cope and Marsh, they rushed to get a plesiosaurus put in a museum. They put the skull on the tail, and they made lots and lots of mistakes. But I do want to touch on what you just mentioned. How do we know what they look like? Because we really don't know what they look like. Me and my friends have been arguing for the longest time, and it sounds silly. Did Tyrannosaurus Rex have lips? Just a few weeks ago, there was a paper saying, yes, it did. A problem with knowing what a dinosaur actually look like is that a lot of the times when it comes to fossils, we're just finding their bones. So we can see how they looked by putting their bones together where they are articulating surfaces. But as to what they looked outside of their skeleton, that's something that our artist friends have to work really, really hard to help us understand. And dinosaurs and paleontology is the perfect relationship between science and art. I am not a very good science person, but boy, I have a passion for dinosaurs, and I'm super good at putting them together, and I'm super good at sculpting, drawing, and painting them. So, it takes a couple of disciplines to get a museum piece together.
I like that you've always said that T-Rex could have tiger stripes, and there's no one to tell you otherwise. It's one of my favorite lines of yours. Miss Gat, before you go, I'll just say a quick goodbye. Thank you so much, everyone. So nice to have you here today. Can't wait to see you again soon. We're going to head to our other class. Lots of time in the Q&A remaining. Holy Family Thunder Band coming to you first, Miss Gully, and then we're going to do a second round with everyone. YouTubers, you guys can share questions too. But Holy Family Thunder Bay, test the mic. Hi.
Hello, my friend.
What is the biggest dinosaur you have dug up?
Ooh, biggest we've ever dug up.
Well, remember, keep in mind, I don't do that digging. That's way for me. My back? Are you kidding? But here's the largest dinosaur at this point is Patago Titan. I haven't heard of a larger one. A couple of years ago, they were finding lots and lots of Tyrannosaurs and giant long-necked dinosaurs like Dreadnoughtus. But Patago Titan was massive. Jesse talked about blue whale being the largest animal that's ever that's ever lived on planet Earth. Patago Titan is the largest animal that's ever walked on planet Earth, and it's almost the same length as a blue whale, coming in at 40 meters long. Now, obviously, because it is a long-necked dinosaur, its bones are hollow. It's got air sacs throughout its body like a bird to keep it nice and light. So something like a dinosaur or a sauropod can get a whole lot bigger on land, whereas a mammal with big, heavy bones, as big as you can get on land, is about an elephant or a giraffe. In order to get bigger, you need to be in the water where gravity isn't working against you, and you can get much, much, much bigger. So Patago Titan is our largest dinosaur. And just to give you an idea of how big they are, this bone beside me is a vertebrae from a Supersaurus dinosaur. And Patago Titan belongs to the same group of Titanosaurs and Supersaurs. So yeah, massive, massive animals.
And again, like if you feel your neck, those little bones there, that's one vertebra from one of those giant dinosaurs, which is insane. Actually,
that's a vertebra from the Mosasaurus, right? Well, I mean, you can see that these were very, very big animals. And this giant piece that you see here is for big muscle attachments to help it use its neck and its tail.
Unbelievable. Super cool. Miss Gully's class, we're going to Ellendale Middle School. Come on in, guys. Unmute your mic, and you're good to go. Hey. Hey, in the back, too.
There you go.
There you go.
What's the rarest dinosaur you've ever seen?
Rarest.
Well,
Yeah, great question, man.
Well, rarest dinosaur. That's an interesting question. Because a lot of the things that it's not a dinosaur, but this was when I was building dinosaurs, there was this really special animal that we got in called Ankylosaurus. Ankylosaurus literally means walking whale, and we got the fossils from the paleontologists, and this was super rare. As we were putting it together, they were doing conservation at the same time. Ankylosaurus is an animal where it's basically the ancestors of whales, but they look like a giant kind of wolfy animal that lived on land. And Ankylosaurus over time changed to become like modern whales. It's a really crazy thing. And Ankylosaurus always kind of stuck in my mind as being one of the coolest things that we've ever walked. There it is there. A walking whale came from Pakistan, I believe, is where they were discovered. But in terms of rare and kind of noteworthy, Sue the T-Rex, holy moly, we built copies of Sue the T-Rex. We had crews that molded and cast Sue. We had teams that built the armature. So if anybody's close to Chicago, go and see this dinosaur. Holy moly, Sue is wonderful. And Sue is one of these animals that was covered in all of this interesting morphology where she had broken bones that had started to heal. So both sides of her rib cage were broken and healed. There was breaks along her tail. She had arthritis in her shoulder, but she's a T-Rex, so her arms really didn't matter that much. But incredible. And Sue and Ankylosaurus are probably two of the animals that stick out in my mind the most when I think about my career.
Amazing answer. Ankylosaurus, I'm so glad someone brings them up. They're one of the coolest animals on planet Earth ever. They are. They're actually like one of the most terrifying looking things ever in nature.
Yeah, their skull looks insane.
We're going to do a rapid fire second round, folks. I want to note too, just great questions for everyone. So thank you so much for being so engaged today. Mr. B's class, you're first. Miss Ross, I'm coming to you next. Hey, Mr. B's, unmute.
Hey, Mr. B.
Hey, guys. Yep, take your time. I like the panda hat, by the way, too.
Sit down.
Hi.
How many dinosaurs have spots?
Ooh.
Oh my goodness. Oh, by the way, Dad, my friends, how many dinosaurs had spots? I love it. Okay, so in order to know what dinosaurs actually look like, we need to find something called soft tissue. So soft tissue is things like dinosaur skin, right? This is the closest you can come to petting a dinosaur. Dinosaur skin, sometimes we can get melanoma. Sometimes if you have feathers are fantastic for preserving colors of animals. So there's only a handful of dinosaurs that we're pretty sure of what they look like. One of them is Boreala pelta, which is an armored dinosaur from Alberta. Psittacosaurus, though. So this Psittacosaurus was discovered, it had to be about 2010. They found a complete Psittacosaurus, and all of the skin was preserved around the skeleton. And just by looking at it, you could see that it was cheetah spotted. So it had little brown spots on a kind of an orangey, yellowy kind of body. And this is what I find absolutely fascinating. So when it comes to modern animals, we can see certain kinds of colors. But when it comes to dinosaurs, we can also see those colors as well. We see counter shading in animals like Boreala pelta, which means the back is darker than the stomach, and it kind of breaks up the shape of the animal, and it confuses predators a little bit. Psittacosaurus has cheetah spots, which probably did the same kind of thing, camouflaged it. Microraptor had blue-black feathers that were iridescent, just like a crow or a raven. So nature likes what nature likes, and that's why I say tiger stripes on T-Rexes. I'm going down with this ship, Jesse. Tiger stripes on T-Rexes. I'm not going to listen to anything else. Give me my stripy Rex.
We're going to head to Miss Ross's class, if you guys have one for us, and then Holy Family Thunder Bay, Miss Gully, try and get these all in the next 4 minutes or so before some of you need to go for the end of the day. Miss Ross, come on in. Hey, guys.
Do dinosaurs have adult teeth and baby teeth like us?
Ooh, good.
No, dinosaurs just have teeth, my friend. If you're a dinosaur, you never have to go to the dentist. If you're a dinosaur, you never have to brush your teeth. If you're a dinosaur, you can eat candy right before bed. It doesn't matter. But dad moment, brush your teeth better, guys. I mean, feel your toothbrush. We know it's dry. You haven't brushed anything. Anyway, dinosaurs, when they lose a tooth, they can just continuously regrow them. They're just like sharks. So a dinosaur and a shark don't have adult teeth. And some kinds of long-necked dinosaurs could replace every single tooth in their head every 40 days or so, because the action of them eating and pulling on plants, but a lot of the time they just pull teeth out of their heads. But it doesn't matter, because there's backup teeth that are right there for them to use. So
sort of like a shark is the closest analogy to that, where they're constantly losing teeth and they're turning over. Very cool question, guys. Holy Family Thunder Bay, and then Miss Gully to wrap up. Come on in, guys. Hey. Run. No, you're good.
There you go. Where in the world did you find most of the fossils?
Ooh, where do we find them?
Yeah, that's a wonderful question. And so you're in Ontario, just like me, and I hate to tell you, we've never found a dinosaur fossil in Ontario, and that's just simply because new rock wasn't being made in Ontario at that point in time. It doesn't mean that dinosaurs didn't live here. It just means that we don't have evidence of them. Now, Western United States, Western Canada, throughout North America, in my opinion, is the best place. This is where we find T-Rexes and Triceratops and Ankylosaurus and Stegosaurus. So the way the world used to look was always a little bit different. So here's a map of Canada and North America during the Cretaceous time period. Florida's underwater, and we have this big inland sea running right down from the Arctic Circle to the Gulf of Mexico. So this big inland sea is what created the Grand Canyon down here, but it's also what created all of our fossil-rich areas in Alberta, Saskatchewan, down here through the United States, places like Montana and the Dakotas and Wyoming, Utah. All of these places yield amazing fossils because dinosaurs would fall into that water and end up sinking to the bottom. And once they're at the bottom of that water, they get buried in the silt at the bottom, and then that fossilization period process starts. So it has to happen like that. An animal needs to be buried like that in order to become a fossil. And a lot of the times, animals will just disappear. So there's lots of dinosaurs we'll never know ever existed because they simply didn't fossilize. I know. Yeah.
Yeah, it's very sad. We don't know who's at third base at all in our baseball game. Miss Gully's class, we're going to wrap up with you. I will note for all our classes, clubrex.org if you want to find out more about Alex's amazing work. If you're in Southern Ontario and want to have him for a live class thing, it's even more engaging than this, which is hard to believe. But Miss Gully's class, come on in and take us away. Hey, guys.
What is the smallest dinosaur?
Smallest dinosaur, Alex.
Dinosaur. Well, technically the hummingbird, but if we're talking about non-avian dinosaurs, there's a lot of small ones. I mean, Archaeopteryx is small. Compsognathus, well known as compies, are quite small. I have a Microraptor. So Microraptor is the one I was talking about. So this is related to Velociraptor. Oh, look at that cute little guy. He's just a little guy. Come on, guys. Just a little guy. He might have sharp teeth, but he's just a little guy. Yeah, this animal has feathers. This animal has wings. Looks an awful lot like a classic crow, except it's got wings on its legs, wings on its arms, and it can't fly as good as a modern bird. But it's got those killing claws on its toes, and it's got those little finger claws, and it's got sharp little teeth for eating bugs. But come on, he's just a little guy.
Guys, what a fantastic bunch of questions. Thank you so much for the amazing Kahoot today, too. Again, clubrex.org to find out more about Alex's incredible work. Alex, is there a final message to inspire our kids about dinosaurs before we bring them in to say a big thank you and farewell today?
If you have chicken for supper, remember, the tables have, my friends, right? Eat with gusto. That's about it. And time for sure. Says.
On that totally and utterly unique note, Miss Ross's class, Mr. B, Holy Family Thunder Bay, Miss Gully, if you guys want to join me in unmuting your mics, thank you so much, everyone. For a great program today. Have a wonderful day. And